Hi, my name is DAmato. I'm Product Manager here at BigFix for Endpoint Protection Technologies. I'm here to talk a little bit today about how we here at BigFix view EPP, or Endpoint Protection, and what we can do to help you protect your enterprise a little better. So I'm going to start off by just talking about, well, what is EPP? EPP is really the technologies, or the collection of technologies that are used for security augmentation on endpoint computers. An endpoint, generally speaking, is a PC, a laptop, a server, devices like that. It's places where data originates or ends. So we talk here at BigFix a lot about the cycle of protection. Okay? It starts with discovery, and goes into assessment, remediation, and finally reporting. I'm going to talk about each of these in turn. I'm going to start off with talking about discovery a little bit. So the whole point of discovery is that if you can't see it, you can't protect it, right? I want you to think about how many computers you have on your network at any given time. Now, are you really sure about that? Maybe not. One thing that many of our customers have found is that there is, at times, as much as a 20% gap between what is actually known and what is found when using BigFix Discovery. This is very important because, again, if you can't see it, you can't protect it. That's 20% of your estate that could be completely wide open just simply because of a lack of visibility. The key here is that if you can't see it, you can't protect it. And more importantly, you can't protect everything else from it. Which moves me into assessment. So after you've discovered what exactly is out there, then you have to assess the state, the posture of each of those individual things that were identified during the discovery step. Do they have the necessary protection software? Do they have a firewall? Is it the right firewall? Do they have anti-malware? Is the anti-malware signatures, are they up to date? These things have to be assessed on a real-time basis. It's something we can do. Do the users have the appropriate level of patches on their machines? This is all part of the assessment stage of the cycle. Is the security configuration in compliance with, say, a government objective or a corporate policy? And then finally, does the firewall or the antivirus software have the appropriate policy, say for the appropriate exclusions in your environment? And then finally, are they currently compromised? With BigFix, you get near real-time visibility into every endpoint in your organization. Now, during situations of an outbreak, for example, that becomes very useful. You can actually see, if you know what you're looking for to determine if a particular machine is compromised, you can actually determine if all of your machines are compromised, or any individual ones. We have customers who have used BigFix software as an incident response tool, for example. Being able to determine in real time, as machines are infected with something that, say, their AV vendor cannot handle, at that point, they can be able to respond in a very targeted and very rapid manner to these infections as they occur. So let's move into the remediation step. Once you have discovered what you have and figured out the level of protection that is present, then it's time to fill in the gaps. With BigFix, one thing we can offer is a very rapid deployment of protection technologies, such as, again, a firewall, anti-malware, patch, security configuration management tools. These things are available and can be pushed out across your entire enterprise. So now, let's move into talking about remediation. Once you have discovered what you have and assessed the security posture of what you have to start talking about filling in the gaps. Again, we had talked about, is the appropriate software deployed across your enterprise? Firewall, anti-malware, the configurations up to speed according to corporate policies. With BigFix, you get the ability to very rapidly remediate these gaps by deploying a firewall, by deploying anti-malware software, reconfiguring endpoints to be in compliance, patching them if they're missing critical patches that are necessary for the security of those endpoints. One of the things about BigFix that's very important is that all of these actions are taken in a closed loop. Not only are you able to deploy this software, but you actually get feedback on whether it has been deployed and whether it is functional. So you're not just clicking and then hoping something happened. You're actually clicking and getting the response to say affirmatively that it has happened. One of the benefits we get from this is in a rip and replace scenario or a competitive migration scenario. That is where you're switching from one vendor to another. Okay? This is inherently a difficult problem on endpoints because sometimes in a large enterprise, you're talking about maybe 250,000 machines that would have to be touched individually. With BigFix, this closed loop verification gives you a very high degree of confidence that something is happening, that the removal of your existing software and the replacement with your new software has actually occurred successfully. Which of these two statements is more frightening to the average IT manager? Number one, there's been an outbreak. And number two, the auditors are here to see you. Now, if you're like me, the second statement is far more frightening because outbreaks can be dealt with. Auditors tend to drag on and on and on for weeks. It requires much more resources to deal with an audit than it does to deal with an incident. The net of this is that our ability to protect is really only one piece of the puzzle. What is just as important, if not more important, is the ability to prove that we have been protecting and to prove that we are currently protecting all the endpoints in our enterprise. And this is a place where the visibility that BigFix customers enjoy really stands out because you can have this real-time snapshot of what's going on all over your enterprise. Right? You can't rely on data that is old, which is why this very rapid, up-to-date, rapidly changing visibility becomes so critical in an audit scenario. You have the ability to show that these are the endpoints in my environment because you've discovered them. This is the security posture that is currently on those endpoints because you've done that during the assessment and remediation stages, and be able to hand this to an auditor to say, here, this is how things are right now. Auditors they'll love this because it makes their jobs very easy rather than having to fish around to find all of this discovery information and this assessment information. The information is all there. It's in one place, it's in one view, and you have the ability to provide it very rapidly with a minimum of manpower. So now I'm going to talk just a little bit about how BigFix makes all of these pieces, discovery, assessment, remediation, and reporting, how it makes them fit together. Traditionally, to accomplish all of these things would have required a whole bunch of point products, a firewall, a separate anti-malware, NAC, DLP, configuration management, patch management, compliance, asset discovery. Each of these would have required a separate tool managed by a separate backend, purchased from a different vendor with its own vendor relationship and contract and everything that goes with it. You would have to buy server hardware for all of these management backends. But with BigFix, you can do it all in one spot. The point products go away. They disappear. No need for them anymore. You can do it in one spot. I want to throw in a word about scalability. In a small organization, you're going to have, say, 250 endpoints. You would need, with BigFix, one machine, one server to manage those 250. Let's say you're a larger organization into the medium business space, 2,500. You need one server. 25,000, you may be detecting a trend here. You need one machine. Now you're in a really large organization. You have 250,000 endpoints. You've probably guessed that what I'm about to say is that you need one BigFix server to manage all of these 250,000, to be able to perform all of these functions across the entire security, configuration, management, discovery, assessment, remediation, report lifecycle. You need one tool managed by one backend with one console. Your users, your administrators have to be trained once on how to deal with all of this. The cost savings can be tremendous. So, we've now shown how BigFix can help you manage endpoint protection across the discover, assess, remediate, and report lifecycle. It can eliminate point products across all of these different functions. Do it at massive scale with a single back end. The bottom line is, with BigFix, you can protect better and save money. Thanks for watching.